It's time to get your champagne wishes and caviar dreams. Welcome inside the Hall of Fame. Now, can you dig that?
Boom! Welcome inside the Hall of Fame. I'm Booker T, 6-time world champ, 2-time Hall of Fame. I got my man Brad Gilmore here with me, as always, coming to you from ESPN 975-92.5. And I want to thank everybody for all the listeners, all you guys, for stepping inside the Hall of Fame, getting your champagne wishes, caviar dreams, man. How you feel, dog? How you feel this morning? I know actually this afternoon. How you feel?
I'm feeling all right, Book. I'm feeling all right. We're starting the week off with some Hall of Fame action, breaking down everything that's going on this week. And, of course, this weekend, we are going to be live nationally on ESPN Radio, ESPN app, and SiriusXM Channel 80 with our UFC 304 breakdown. So I'm looking forward to that. We're building up to the main event this Saturday.
Yeah, man. Bilal Muhammad versus Leon Edwards. And it's going to be over in England, right? This paper be coming from you from England. Last time I was in England, I got a chance to meet Leon Edwards.
You did?
Yeah.
I didn't know this. Where'd you meet him?
I was doing a convention and he came to my table. He
really?
Just wanted to meet me.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was real cool. So looking forward to UFC 304 going down this Saturday night, guys. Don't miss out. Don't get shut out 10 p.m. 9 Central.
Well, one of the interesting things, too, about this fight card is, yes, it's going on overseas, but they're going to be on an American time clock.
Yeah.
Right? So I can't remember I'll look up the time difference, but they're going on, like the main event's going to be going on at like 3 a.m. or something crazy UK time. And I'm still, and I'm sure we're going to get into it in our show this Saturday, but I'm just wondering what effect that's going to have, not so much on the international fighters who are flying to the UK, but the UK fighters, the Leon Edwards of the world, when they're having to augment their regular sleep schedule to kind of get on American Standard Time.
I don't think it's going to be that much of an adjustment for someone like Leon that's going to be there. It's just, just fighting at a different time. I don't think it's going to throw his, just like, from a jet lag perspective, that's not going to happen. I think he's going to be more comfortable than, his opponent, I would imagine. Yeah.
Well, I agree. I disagree, because to me, if I am normally going to bed, let's say at 10, and I'm waking up at 8 every single day for months on end, for years on end, and then I'm going to be fighting at, it's a 6-hour time difference. So if my fight goes on at 11 Central Time, what is that? That's like 5 in the morning, UK time. So if the main event's going on at 5 a.m. UK time, he's going to have to change that whole schedule. You know what I mean? So he can't go to sleep at 10 p.m. London time.
Like I said, I'm not saying that he's not going to have to change his schedule or anything like that, but I'm just saying I think it'll be a whole lot easier to get acclimated to something like that.
I don't know. I mean, because like we all have our schedules, and I'm just wondering if a schedule interruption, and the thing is, when you're a fighter, not only is your schedule, it's your whole team schedule, it's your training partner schedule.
Those guys aren't fighting though. I mean, I think.
Yeah, but if you're going to practices during the week, you can't start trying to get acclimated, 2 days before. I wouldn't imagine. I feel like he's probably this whole week trying to figure out his time schedule.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm not saying I don't disagree with you, but I'm just saying I think it'd be a whole lot easier to get acclimated to fighting at a later time or earlier time, opposed to having flying in and having to adjust to jet lag, a different altitude and that type of stuff. I don't think that's going to hurt. He's not going to have to adjust in that way.
Well, no, he won't have to adjust to the weather and the conditions and the things of that nature. I just wonder, I mean, it's one of those things when you're younger and you're here like home game versus road game, you're like, what's the difference? They're just playing in front of people who like them as opposed to not liking them. But as you get older and you realize, no, home games are better because you're sleeping in your own bed, you're on your own time, you're comfortable, you're relaxed, you get to have a home cooked meal, whereas opposed to when you're on the road, it's you got to catch this flight, catch this Uber, catch this bus, eat whatever they have at the venue. You know, I mean, it does change your performance. It has to, a road game versus a home game. And I'm just
Yeah,
wondering if the time change.
normally it does. I think just being on your home court or your home field just has to feel better than being on an away field. I mean, just like back in the day, the Boston Garden, people always used to talk about the parquet. You know what I mean, and playing on that. It has to be different. The fans, you have that certain spot that you can hit from on the court, opposed to being away. If that spot
Right.
changes, even though you're in the same spot, it
Right.
changes. So yeah, I get that. I get that 100%.
Did you ever have that feeling of performing like in the H or when you were living in Atlanta, performing in Atlanta so that you didn't have to get on a flight or make a drive or, say you're going from Atlanta to Marietta or what have you, but like playing or performing or wrestling, I should say, in the city you lived in? Did you feel more relaxed or did you notice any kind of difference?
Nah, not really. Other than the fans, when I was in Atlanta, the fans used to make sure they came out and, show up and show out for Harlem Heat. But nah, man, only time I really thought about, working and my work changed just because my breathing was different. I remember being in Denver and I remember being in the gym, training and working out. And I was like, man, this is different. But we had got there a couple of days early. And I remember being on the treadmill trying to acclimate, to the weather a little bit because I know I was going to blow up that night if I didn't, So I remember just being in the gym on the treadmill, just running. And hopefully I was going to be, I remember it was a huge difference working in Denver opposed to working anywhere in the world. Denver was totally different than any place else.
We'll have to see if any of this has an effect at UFC. Was it nice when y'all would have when you were at center stage and you were going to the same place all the time? Did that feel like a home court? Did you feel more relaxed?
No, that definitely I think is true. I mean, because center stage did feel like home court advantage. It
That's
seemed
where y'all taped a lot of WCW shows.
Yeah, we taped
Yeah.
WCW from that spot, WCW Saturday nights from that spot for many years, and yeah, like I say, it felt like going home. I felt like I had an advantage every time I was in that arena. I was just watching. They did show my documentary last night, and it was a spot from in the WCW Center Stage, and I was beating the crap out of Scott D'Amore. Big up, Scott. I love you, brother. If it wasn't for people like Scott D'Amore, man, I wouldn't be here, man. The dude definitely went out there, worked for me on a regular basis. But yeah, man, great times at Center Stage. Definitely home court.
And remind me, were the people at center stage, were the fans, were they prepaid? Like, did they buy the tickets or were those like a studio show?
You know what? I think they bought the tickets, but
Uh-huh.
then again, maybe I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Let me go back. I'm not sure if they bought the tickets or not, but it was almost like NXT. It had a set crowd. I guess about 1,000 people could fit into center stage, and a lot of them, were regulars. We would see them on a regular basis. Some of them became family. Really, seriously, some of them became family. I remember the last match my brother and I had at the Pasadena Convention Center. We had some of our fans that used to watch us at center stage drove all the way to Houston
Oh,
to
no
watch us
way.
that night. Yes, unbelievable.
Wow, man. Because
Yeah,
you lived in Atlanta how long?
2 years.
2 years. And I'm sure, like in those 2 years, and when you're going to center stage and doing the tapings, you're seeing the same people a lot of the times, right? Kind of similar to the NXT crowd.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. It was like I say, this one group, man. They literally became like family. On a weekly basis, they would be there for us. They would be at the hotel after hanging out, and it was like I was like their uncle. It was like something like that. It was nothing nothing more than that. But it was so freaking awesome. Like I say, they drove that same group drove from Atlanta all the way to Houston to watch my brother and I last match. The final heat. Amazing.
Final heat, man. Wow, that's incredible. That's incredible. And I'm sure, like, fans, obviously we feel a connection to you all because we watch you for so long and have all this emotional investment. But I'm sure also y'all have like an investment in the fans too, right? If you see the same guy every single time at the Row Show or the NXT crowd or at the center stage or when y'all were doing Disney, I'm sure like you go, oh, look, and you might not even know his name. You're like, there's a guy with the hat. He's always got the hat on. Like, that's my guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, nah, man. The sign guy used to always show up on a regular basis, and he'd be at every show. This one guy, he became like family to us. Became like family to us. But that's the connection, man. It's connection in wrestling. On another note, I did a convention. Not a convention. I just did a signing in New York over the weekend, and I don't know if you've seen this kid. He's in the subways, and he do these acts, these skits in the subways, and he plays as me.
I saw the picture. Yeah,
he showed up yesterday to my signing on Saturday, actually. As soon as I saw him, I go, "You the guy in the subway." I swear to God, man. And we chopped it up big time, man. We had such a freaking great time. New York showed up, man, for me, man. I want to thank everybody who showed up for me this weekend, man. I love you guys. We got to take a break, guys. Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. Can you dig it, sucker? And this episode is sponsored by Blue Chew. Guys, let's talk about it. Let's talk about sex. Hey, you remember when you was always ready to go? I'm talking about strapping the rocket on it, man. Going straight to the moon. I'm talking about getting it done. If you want that extra confidence, I got something for you. Listen up. BlueChew.com. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, Levitra, but in a chewable tablet at the fraction of the cost.
But the great thing, Book, is you can take it any time, day or night, so you can plan ahead or be ready whenever an opportunity arises. The process is simple. You sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days.
The best part, guys, it's all done online on the internet. So there's no doctor's visit, no awkward conversations, no waiting in line at a pharmacy or any of that.
And the thing is, Book, Blue Chew's tablets, they're made right here in the USA and prepared and shipped direct to your door in a discreet package, so no one is the wiser.
Let's just get it out there, guys. Blue Chew wants to help you have better sex. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. It's like this. Chew it and do it. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew absolutely free when you use promo code Booker at your checkout. Just pay $5 for shipping, man. That's BlueChew.com. Use promo code Booker to receive your first month absolutely free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And, we want to thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the Hall of Fame podcast. Chew it and do it. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, man. We got a whole lot of news out there breaking, man. We got to talk about some of it, I guess. This is the Hall of Fame. We do talk. What? Go ahead.
Oh, no. I was going to say, yes, we do. And also I wanted to encourage any super chatters that come who want to throw something in. Of course, we'll get to your super chats today. I'm already seeing a handful of them come through. And we have to do a make good real quick because last week we had a super chat come in that I missed.
Yeah.
I didn't see it. Don't get hot about it.
I saw it.
You saw it and you didn't say anything.
I didn't say anything because I thought you was going to get it before we got off. That's your job. You're
But
supposed to be screening for stuff like that, making sure we hit everybody here inside the Hall of Fame, because we like the Marines. We leave no man behind. Okay, and that's what you did. You left a man behind.
well, you know what? Like, if we were the Marines and you saw me leaving somebody behind, shouldn't you step up in that place?
Not if I'm already on the plane and we gone.
Okay. Okay. Well, guess what? We're going to get to it right now. I feel like this is a good make good. And again, if you have a super chat, something you want to ask or a comment, question, concern here in the Hall of Fame, you super chat in and we will read it live on the air. This one comes from the Arena Uncensored, and it says Harlem Heat versus Demolition. Who wins?
Oh man, Barry Darsow and Bill Eadie, Axe and Smash. We'd have beat the hell out of them, man. You know, I'm serious. Yeah, no. I like Axe and Smash. I like Demolition. Those guys were good. Those guys were real good. And the thing is, I wouldn't even call Demolition a ripoff of the Road Warriors. I really wouldn't. They did wear the face paint. They did wear, like the Road Warrior type spikes.
Yeah.
But they were totally different than the Road Warriors. And I think that's why Demolition pretty much weathered that storm. Walking in those shoes, after the Road Warriors were big shoes to fill. That's why I feel like those guys were totally different than the Road Warriors. And that's why they lasted so long. Lasted as long as they did. Let's just say that. Yeah, but
well, I mean,
but Harlem Heat, no contest, no contest.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Harlem Heat over Demolition, but I know people who kind of grew up. Demolition was like right there, maybe 4-ish, maybe 5-6 years before I really started getting into everything. So by the time Demolition or I came around, Demolition was already on the way out as far as WWF goes. But I know people who are in the generation prior to me, the Gen Xers out there, they love Demolition. Like Demolition is their team.
I love them.
I will say, when you see them immediately, as soon as you see them, you go, oh, this is like the Road Warriors. That's the first thing you think of. And I think that it was supposed to be a complete kind of takeoff of the Road Warriors.
Yeah.
But they're one of the few, I think, in entertainment history, not just pro wrestling history, but entertainment history, where you take from somebody else, but then you kind of become your own with it.
Yeah,
and it's, although it might have started off as a ripoff, it became its own thing. And that's where Demolition, I think, got to. And it's insane that they're not in the Hall of Fame, because I think they're like the second longest reigning tag team champions in history. And people remember Here Come the Axe, Here Come the Smash. Great song, great look, great finish, great team.
No, Barry Darsow, man. That dude, man. See, I come from that era, way before he was part of Demolition. In Houston wrestling here, Barry Darsow was fighting Nikolai Volkov, back in the day, and he was like the All-American kid. He was like really young, and Nikolai Volkov was just beating all the Americans, just smashing them, and then he would hit them with that finish where you drop them on the knee and pin them just 1, 2, 3. And I remember Barry Darsow challenging Nikolai Volkov, and he goes, "You say you got Russian missiles, huh? Well, I got American missiles right here, pal. Next week, you're gonna have to face me right in the middle of that ring." And he faced Nikolai Volkov. And that next week, and Nikolai did the same thing to him that he did to all the other Americans. 1, 2, 3. And the next week, Barry Darsow was Crusher Darsow. He was a Russian.
Oh, Crusher Khrushchev, right? Wasn't that his name?
Crusher Darsow.
Crusher Darsow? Okay, I thought he was Crusher Khrushchev.
It was Crusher Darsow in the beginning. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
Yeah. And he became a Russian, man. It was like one of the coolest angles back in the day, man. A big Russian just killing everybody. Nikolai was so freaking good, man.
Nikolai Volkov, WWE Hall of Famer as well. When it comes to Barry Darsow, I know he was there in WCW before WCW wrapped things up, and I know he was also in WWF again as the Repo Man. A lot of people might remember as the Repo Man, but he was in WCW for a good little minute, I believe. Did you work him a lot in WCW?
I got a chance to work with Barry in WCW for a minute, but it was nothing sustainable or anything like that. But he's worked all over. That's why, getting back to the demolition thing, that's why I was glad to actually see Barry Darsow actually make it in this business and really have a legendary run with someone, like Bill Eadie as Demolition, because there again, he moved all over the place, to finally find, Demolition.
This is interesting here. So I just real quick, I typed in Harlem Heat Demolition while the question came up to see if there was anything out there. This is interesting. So check this out. On an August 28th, 1999 edition of Saturday Night, WCW Saturday Night, Darsow teamed with Bobby Eaton in a loss to the Harlem Heat. After Booker T pinned Darsow, Harlem Heat hit Darsow in the head with their World Tag Team Championships. Due to the blow to the head, in the following weeks to come, Darsow took on an amnesia gimmick where he would reprise a different one of his past WCW gimmicks every week. On a September 18th, 1999 edition of Worldwide, Darsow reprised his Crusher gimmick where he was a Russian. So get that. You liked watching him as a Russian, and then you made him become a Russian again because of you, Booker T.
I had nothing to do with that.
You hit it. You pinned him, and then y'all hit him in the head.
Creative that WCW thought of, or maybe he thought of it, but I had nothing to do with that. Okay.
Can I say something? It's kind of a good idea. Like if you have a lot of gimmicks that you're known for, getting hit in the head and then doing a different gimmick every week.
Yeah, I like it.
It's not bad. It's actually not bad. Do you have any recollection of this at all? Like any?
Nah, man. Zero. No. I swear to God. None, man. It's not like I don't remember. I got a good memory or anything like that. I just don't remember things that just wasn't significant in my career, or in my life, or anything like that. And that was probably one of those things I was just doing, just to be doing it, So I don't remember, but I do remember working Barry Dawson. I just didn't know what stage, what part of my career. But I do remember being in the ring with him.
All right, so we have settled it though. Harlem Heat versus Demolition. You win. I think they've asked before if Prime, Road Warriors, and Harlem Heat. You said that the Harlem Heat would win. Is there any tag team?
Yeah, man, I'm gonna tell you. On paper, Harlem Heat match up with any team that that the business ever produced.
It's true, actually.
With Doom, we match up with them. The Road Warriors, the Nasties, Steiners. No matter who it was, the Harlem Heat was definitely a top 10 tag team. Top 10. What number we were, sometimes we probably was number 1. Sometimes we might have been number 10. But we definitely hovered, in that top 10, tag team position throughout our careers. And a lot of people definitely put us at number 1.
Well, I think when you look at how y'all are stylistically, you really do match up with every possible team I can think of. I mean, if it's Harlem Heat versus the APA, that's a great matchup. But at the same time, it could be Harlem Heat versus the Hardy Boys. That's still a great matchup. Versus the Dudleys, versus Edge. I'm just thinking of teams around that time. Y'all had a good matchup with anybody, because if you had to, you could kind of do a lot of the athletic things that some of the smaller guys might be able to pull off, or you could work to a bigger size and take on Farouk and Bradshaw.
Yeah. I mean, I think my size was, I could work with the cruiserweight guys. I could work with the biggest guy on the roster. And I think that's what was really, really unique about Harlem Heat. I think more than anything, my brother went out there and did his job. I went out there and did my job together. We was a great collective, a great cohesive unit. But as far as any tag team out there, I really believe Harlem Heat matched up with most of those. I wish that we could have had a run in WWF, WWE, and really got a chance to, compete against some of those guys and see how far the hypocrisy of the Harlem Heat actually went. Because I tell you, we were good. We were really good. We got a chance to prove it in WCW, but we really didn't get a chance to prove it, on that world stage. And I really think we could have did some really, really great work with some of those guys in WWF. We got to take a break. You're in the Hall of Fame, guys. Stick around. We'll be back in a sec.
Hey everybody, Brad Gilmore here with the one and only Booker T, and today we're not just talking about wrestling, we're talking about something that's changed the game for both of us personally, and that's Mando whole body deodorant.
Yeah, that's right, Brad. You know, the most valuable thing in the world could be that #1 draft pick or home field advantage throughout the playoffs. But you know what? Second time.
Absolutely, Book. And let me tell you, managing body odor, that used to eat up a lot of time. Always worrying about it, especially around midday, but not anymore since we started using Mando.
Yeah, but tell them why, Brad.
Well, Mando isn't like those other deodorants that just mask the odor with heavy fragrances. Mando stops odor at the source. It blocks bacteria on your skin from breaking down sweat, which, by the way, is what really causes that BO.
And it's clinically proven to control that odor for up to 72 hours. Now that's long-lasting, man.
It really frees up so much time since switching to Mando. I've even perfected my half-court shot, believe it or not.
Man, that's awesome. And let me add, I've been using Mando everywhere. Pits, grundles, and even those stinky crevices. We all got it's aluminum-free, cruelty-free, dye-free, and vegan. Designed by a doctor who knew what was up about body odor, man.
And for our listeners, we got something special. New customers can get $5 off the Mando starter pack. That's over 40% off. Just use our code BOOKER at shopmando.com. That's shopmando.com.
Use shopmando.com. Check out their starter pack. Brad and I would not steer you wrong.
With Mando, you're really taking care of your body odor anywhere and everywhere. Give it a try and let us know what you think.
All right, now back to wrestling. But remember, control your body odor anywhere, anytime with Mando, and save big with the promo code Booker at shopmando.com. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame. We'll get back to the super chatters here in a bit, man. But I know some news breaking out there, so let's definitely talk about a little bit of it. Bobby Lashley, MVP. Contracts are coming up relatively soon. It's all kind of rumors, speculation, innuendo about what's going on with Bobby Lashley, MVP. They may be leaving. It's nothing concrete yet, but it's word that they may be reforming the Hurt Business at AEW. That's definitely got to be speculation. I wouldn't imagine that anybody would be talking about something like that this early before anybody would have ever, even set one foot out of the company. That's just me. And I know it's going to be a lot of, if these two guys were to leave WWE, it's going to be a lot of talk, rumor, where they're going to show up next. What do you think about this thing with Bobby Lashley, MVP?
Well, first off, I will say, as a Bobby Lashley Hurt Business fan, you hate to see them leave the company or the territory, because I think Bobby Lashley, in this last run that he had, I think he came back in 2018, somewhere around there. So this last 6-year run of his career, I would say, is the best Bobby Lashley in the history of his career. I mean, honestly, when he came in back in 05 era of WWE, of course, he had the rocket on him and was really trying to solidify himself as a main event guy. But this time around, he won the WWE Championship, of course, on a couple occasions. Had a great WrestleMania match at 37 with Drew to open things up on night one, I believe, if memory serves me correct. And then the Hurt Business was one of those few rare factions that come around where people bought into it. And it elevated everybody in that group. MVP coming back to the company was also something that was pleasant to see. He comes back in the Royal Rumble here in Houston, I believe in 2020. And then we're hearing maybe he's going to be a part of the company, and ends up having another great run as a manager here in WWE. If they are gone, they've had incredible runs and they've been a great benefit to the company. I will say this. I'm sad that we never got to see like almighty Bobby Lashley, where he was really at the top as the world champion, and Roman Reigns as the head of the bloodline, and you had the Hurt Business versus the bloodline. Oh, that would have been something great for the fans. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't know. They might very well go to AEW.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. What do you think about the reformation in AEW?
If it's just the two of them, I guess it's not. Well, Shelton's out there too, right? And Shelton said,
yeah, Shelton's out there.
He'd be up for AEW or even returning to WWE. Cedric Alexander's still with the company, I believe. WWE
Yeah, I
at
think
the
so.
current moment.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. In AEW, there are so many factions already, and there's so many people on a roster, and so few television opportunities. It seems like because we're not seeing everybody every week, and kind of people go away, and you kind of forget about them for a moment. But they do have those trios titles over there in
Yeah, yeah. And then they got then
AEW.
they got RH. RH, they can throw them in there as well. I think Shane Taylor got a group over there as well. Yeah.
Be honest though, like, would you rather see the Hurt Business? I'm gonna give you three options: in AEW, in TNA, or in Japan.
TNA.
You'd like to see him in TNA.
Well, I think they will be able to get some use in. See, thing is, when you go to Japan, it's just work over there. I don't. I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but I don't. I don't think we don't actually hear about it. So maybe I'm not wrong. Going over to Japan, you're just gonna be working. It ain't about your promo skills. It ain't about how really good you look as a group or anything like that. I think when the Bullet Club went over there and they were doing their best work, I think it was the matches that they were producing. It wasn't those guys just being together as a group. Am I right or wrong on that? You agree with me on that?
I would agree with that.
So I'm thinking with their Hurt Business, they're not going to go over there and woo you with their matches. They're more. I mean, of course, Bobby's going to go. He's going to look good. Of course, Shelton. He's going to look good. MVP is going to be the front man. But as far as being able to go out there and really cut the promos and really put a spotlight on that thing from a showmanship perspective, that's not going to happen in Japan. I think it can happen in TNA. It can happen in AEW. But just like you said, in AEW, it's just so many guys, they could get lost in the shuffle there. How much play will we see from the Hurt Business? What kind of angles would they be in that could really highlight a group like that? I don't know. I could be wrong, but we'll see how this thing play out.
Yeah, to me, again, here's the thing with AEW. If they go to AEW, as long as there's a long-term plan in play for the Hurt Business, it
Come
could
on,
be something that
come
what?
on,
It could be
come on.
something that we could really
Who's going to AEW where they've had a long plan? What I've been reading lately is seem like it seemed like Tony Khan is just letting these guys pretty much do whatever they want to do. He trusts the talent to go out and do the right thing. Come on. You think I could trust the guys in reality of wrestling to go out and do whatever they want to do on the show, and the show is going to come out, the way we really need it to be? You think that's going to happen?
Well,
You
no.
think you think I can trust everybody to go out and not want to pick the microphone up every chance they get, pick up a chair and hit someone with it, or jump off something throughout the whole show, and you think I can trust the guys to do that? And I really feel like Tony Khan needs to get a rein on that thing and really start producing that show from a perspective to where get some help. Get some help. That's what he needs to do. Get some help. You know what I mean? Just like me. I need help. I can't do it by
Need help.
myself.
Can't do it alone.
I need help. I'm gonna throw out a life preserve. Please help me. Somebody throw me a life preserve. Please help me here. Because I can't get this. I can't get to the shore. I can't get to the boat. Please, somebody help me. So I think that's what Tony needs more than anything. Bringing in MVP and Bobby. I wonder what somebody like Tony Khan. What would there again? I could be wrong. I could be wrong on this. But MVP and Bobby is not the guys that's on Tony Khan's radar.
From what do you mean? Expand.
Nostalgia.
With nostalgia, yeah, I think that they would be on his radar.
Oh man, the Hardys were the high flyers. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Who else is CM Punk? You couldn't pass up on that just because
Bryan Danielson.
Bryan Danielson. You couldn't pass up on Bryan Danielson. He's one of those guys that changed the way of the wrestling world with this yes movement and stuff. I gotta get a guy like Tony Khan is like playing with action figures. You think that those are the action figures that he's going to be looking for?
Look, if Bobby Lashley is a free agent and you don't have a conversation with him, that's foul. Bobby deserves a convo for any wrestling company.
Okay.
I hope he re-signs with WWE. I hope he's back with the
No, we're
WWE.
talking about the Hurt Business. We're talking about the collective.
Yeah. Now here's the question: is MV working? Like, is MV going to wrestle, or is he just is he going to play a manager role?
Look, man, MVP what? 50?
Probably close to there. I'll look it up. Why?
Well, the reason I say that is because at 50, you don't want to be trying to reinvent the wheel.
He's 50, turning 51 in October.
I mean, you don't want to be trying to reinvent the wheel, going out there bumping around when, man, it hurts. I just did yard work yesterday. Man, I was hurting so bad. After I finished it, I was out there for about 2.5, 3 hours. But man, I was so beat up after I got up out of there. Man, it's not something a 50-year-old wants to be doing. Is going out of the ring and having to wrestle. There again, I could be wrong on that because we got a lot of guys out there that's 50 in their 50s that is working.
Adam Copeland.
Yeah. But then again, those guys getting a hefty bag to go out there and work.
Right. So MV got to get paid.
That's another question. How much are we going to pay, MV to come in and, do the same job as a lot of those other guys are doing? That's a big question right there.
Well,
and the thing is, I don't know. But if a deal can be made and if the deal is right, okay, I can see that.
I think there is a hunger, or there's a desire, let's say, to see the Hurt Business again, because we as wrestling fans felt like it was shorted on us, and it was in a lot of ways. There was still a lot of meat on the bone, right, with the Hurt Business. So I think that it is an attractive option to maybe even bring over some WWE fans who haven't watched AEW yet or haven't stayed the course. Maybe, hey, the whole Hurt Business is over here. Let's watch. I would watch. I would look at it at least once.
At least once.
And depending on what the story
What are you going to do after that?
Depending on what the story is, if they hook me. That's what I'm saying. They got to hook me to watch more than once. But if you tell me this week on Dynamite, the Hurt Business is going to be on there, I'm watching. You would watch? You would watch. You would want to see what the Hurt Business is doing.
Man, we got to take a damn break. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. Can you dig it, sucker? All right, everyone, it's Booker T and Brad Gilmore here, and we've got something exciting for all you sports, comedy, music, and theater fans out there. We're talking about Game Time, the fastest, easiest way to get your hands on tickets to your favorite events.
That's right, Book. We love all those spontaneous, unforgettable moments, and Game Time is here to make them happen. Whether it's a last-minute decision to see a game or a sudden urge to catch a live show, Game Time has got you covered, giving fans access to tickets even at the last minute in over 60 cities across the United States and Canada.
Hey guys, this ain't about getting in. This is about getting the best seats in the house. With Game Time, you can see images of your seat before you buy it. So no surprises there, guys. You can score tickets swiftly. Skip the line, guys. Just dive straight into the moment.
Absolutely. And listen to this. Game Time guarantees the best prices. Find tickets in the same section and row for less elsewhere. Game Time will give you a credit of 110% of the difference. So there's no reason to wait, bro.
So whether it's the thrill of the game, the laughter of the comedy, the rhythm of the music, or the drama of the theater, guys, don't let the opportunity skip by. Choose Game Time. Grab your tickets and just enjoy the moment.
Live should be spontaneous, Book. So guys, don't miss out. Check out Game Time now on their app or at gametime.co. That's gametime.co.
Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Just download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code BOOKER for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Lowest price. Guarantee. Oh, yes. Boom. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame. We're sitting here right now just kicking it, talking about perhaps the next move for Bobby Lashley. What's the next move for MVP, Shelton Benjamin. All these guys going to end up all elite as the new and improved Hurt Business. Or, they're going to go to TNA and, create the new and improved Hurt Business over there. Because just imagine, if they did go there and, perhaps, it'd be Shelton, MVP, and they add Moose, and then you got the new Hurt Business, the new and improved, new power generation, Hurt Business. And the thing is, the reason I say that is because it's not so saturated in TNA where these guys will be seen and highlighted on a weekly basis. That's what I see. Like I say, I don't. Of course, they could end up in AEW now, and of course, they probably would make a whole lot more money in AEW. But if done right in TNA, the money would be there for them because they would still be able to go out and work and do other projects and do other things and to be able to build something like that. For me, I think it's I don't know. I think that's a win-win situation over there.
Well, and like you said, with TNA, although creatively might be the best place for them to land, got to wonder what kind of money can TNA offer, because we know they can't compete with
exactly.
AEW paycheck.
Oh no, exactly my point. Exactly my point. I mean, they're going to make more money in AEW. It's a no-brainer. That's no doubt. But to be able to have that creative freedom to be able to, make a paycheck here and then know you can still go out and make a paycheck there and be able to do conventions, be able to go overseas, when those doors open and stuff like that. Yeah, I think that could work out for them. But we'll see, man. We'll see exactly where they land. I'm hoping they land a soft landing. Let's just say that.
You and I both. I'm a big fan of Bobby, Shelton, and MVP, all those individuals, and especially collectively. So we'll see where that goes. Now, what about the other rumor out there that Tamina is no longer with the company? Now, again, this is not confirmed. It's just reports, same way as Bobby Lashley. We should say all of this is unconfirmed at the moment, but they are reporting that Tamina is no longer listed on internal rosters. This is according to Sportskeeda, WrestleZone, Cultaholic, several outlets reporting this. What do you think about that, if true?
I mean, I'm not surprised. I mean, Tamina hadn't been used a whole lot lately.
Right.
She's been around, for quite some time, and it's just part of the business. You know what I mean? You're not going to stick around. That's what surprises me when people see somebody, getting let go or somebody asking for their release and moving on. That's just a part of this business. It's the nature of the beast of it. You're going to get let go sooner or later. And when I see people that seem like they're shocked when somebody get let go, for me, it's just another day at the office. If Tamina is no longer with WWE, she had a hell of a run. She had a hell of a run. Did she become champion? No. Did Jake the Snake become champion? No. It's not all about that at the end of the day. I think it's about taking care of your family, making some money, and hopefully parlaying this success that we've had in this business into whatever we're going to do next. So now, if Tamina is no longer a part of the company, I always liked Tamina, man. We always got along very, very well, man. She was always one of my favorite people. Seriously, man. Seriously. So I would hate to see her, be gone from the company. But, on the other hand, that's just the nature of the beast in the business, and I wish her well. Hopefully, if she is gone, hopefully, she'll get a chance to aspire to do some things that she never got a chance to do because she's been on the road working her ass off for so many years. I'm serious, man. That's what one should be thinking about once they do get out of the rat race of the grind.
Well, yes, and Tamina, again, she's been around since 2010, maybe somewhere around there.
Yeah.
So she's had a hell of a run with the company, and by the way, a 9-time 24/7 champion, and her and Natalia had a run with the women's tag team championship.
Hell of a run, man. She
got to have a little gold.
Oh, man, seriously. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm with you, and I feel like, again, with the women especially, back I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, the women were around very short. It was a very short run for women. It was like 3 years, maybe.
3-4 years.
That's like
Yeah,
tops. And if you make
tops.
4 years, like you were something special.
Yeah.
Now we're seeing these long runs, and I think Tamina's up there with somebody like Natalia, who did recently re-sign with the WWE as a long-term investment that the company had. And in my estimation, Tamina, that's an investment that paid off. And if she is done with the company, you know what? She's going to have a legacy she can look back on and a body of work that I'm sure she's proud of. I mean, I even think of the time where she was paired with AJ Lee for a while as her bodyguard. She was there in Team Bad, Beautiful, and Dangerous with Sasha Banks and Naomi. She was on Total Divas for a short period of time. So she's definitely had a great career in the WWE that I think most people would be envious of having, to be honest with you. A long run and used here frequently. So, I mean, yeah, congratulations to her on her next move, if this is all for Tamina in the WWE.
No doubt. No doubt. Like I say, Tamina always one of my favorite people. So I'm sure we'll find out something soon. But what else out there? Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler won the TNA.
Nick Nemeth. He's the TNA World Champion, man.
Nick Nemeth. Nick Nemeth. That's it. Yeah, yeah.
Nick Nemeth.
I don't know why I still want to call him Dolph. You know, every
I
time
mean,
I
he
see
was Dolph forever.
still calling him Dolph Ziggler, but nah, man, to win the TNA championship, put him on the map over there. Now he's won it in WWE and in TNA. That's huge. That's huge. That's huge for Dolph Ziggler. And the thing is, it seems like he's happy over there, bro. Exactly what I was talking about. I mean, of course, he could have been in AEW. Of course, you don't think he could have got a contract over there? I think he could have.
Of course, absolutely.
He could have. But would we see Dolph Ziggler in this light if he was in AEW? Would he have gotten this type of airtime that he's gotten? Because I tell you what, I've heard nothing but Nick Nemeth in TNA since he got there. Seriously.
Well, he's been a top guy since his debut. And to answer your question, no, he wouldn't have had the same television time and place on the card that he's had in TNA in AEW, just because Dolph Ziggler is not going to be the AEW World Champion at this moment in the company. There's so many people right now in the main event scene trying to find even an angle to be a part of. That's the thing about AEW, is they're kind of rich with talent, especially towards the top, middle, and top of their card. There's a lot of guys over there. Dolph being in TNA was the best decision he could have made, in my opinion, because he's also had a hell of a year. He is the was it New Japan Global Champion, I believe is what it was, and now he's the TNA World Champion, and he's being able to kind of probably have his own schedule, really call a lot of his own shots, have input, serious, meaningful input in his creative, and he's the top guy in the company. Defeated 5 other men in Slammiversary main event, including your favorite gentleman, Joe Hendry, and Moose, both of which were in that match there. So congratulations to Nick. Nick's and again, he's a 20-year vet at this point.
Yeah, yeah. No, he's a guy that's still going real strong, though. I think that time in WWE, at the end, he got a chance to just cruise and coast. He wasn't doing a whole lot. Then he came down to NXT and did a little bit there, but he was the type of guy you called him when you needed him, and then he would come in and perform at a very, very high level. So now it seems like he's ready and fresh for this run that he's going on in TNA.
Well, and honestly, he was kind of in WWE, although he had a short moment as the world champion. He was always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Yeah, yeah.
In WWE.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
now he's like the person in high school that everyone's trying to, get to know. He's the popular kid in TNA, right? Like, he's top of the food chain. He's quarterback of the varsity team. Like, people want to be around Nick Nemeth in TNA, and I think that's great for him because he's always been, as they say, he's been a hell of a talent. Hell of a talent.
I said something about Nemeth one time on the kickoff show, and I got a lot of heat for it.
What'd you say?
I said that this guy's going to look back on his career one day and really regret it, because opposed to going out there and wanting to be the main guy, he more so wanted to just go out and steal the show. And in a lot of ways, that's kind of true. It's kind of true in a lot of ways. Dolph Ziggler was never the guy. I don't think he was politicking to be the top guy. He just wanted to go out and steal the show every night. Is that a knock on Dolph Ziggler? No, it's not. It's not a knock on him or anything like that.
No.
He just pretty much let his talent speak for itself, and his talent spoke for 20 years. And that right there is a testament to Dolph Ziggler. I give him high praise, nothing but high praise from Dolph Ziggler. But Dolph was never a guy that was worried about the championship. I don't think, opposed to going out there and, no matter who the champion is, he's going to have to follow this. I'm going to go out there and steal this. It was one of those type of things. I could be wrong, but that's the way I've always felt about Dolph.
No, I agree with you. I think that in WWE, especially, I think that his nickname was the show stealer. Like that's what he's going out there to try to do.
Yeah. But then that's shoes to fill too, because you're trying to be, you're falling into that Shawn Michaels umbrella. We got to take a break though. We got to take a break, guys. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a sec.
Hey there, beach babes and beach bros. Are you ready to soak up the summer vibes and strut out with your ultimate beach bod? Well, good news, because our friends over at Manscaped have got you covered from head to toe.
Oh, yeah, Brad. We're talking about the Performance Package 5.0 Ultra, the all-in-one grooming kit that's a total game changer for your summer look, man. With Manscaped, you're not just grooming, you're unlocking confidence you need to turn heads this beach season. Oh, yes.
That's right, Booker. And we're talking 10 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped. And because you're listening to us, you get a special deal. 20% off plus free shipping with the code Booker at manscaped.com. Let's make this summer your smoothest one yet.
Man, let me tell you about the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. This bad boy got a summer makeover. It's waterproof, perfect for those splashy pool parties and beach hangouts. And don't get me started with the Weed Whacker 2.0 for those pesky nose and ear hairs.
Oh, and after you trim, you've got to try the Crop Soother Ball Aftershave Lotion. Say goodbye to chafing and hello to comfort all day long. Plus, the Crop Preserver Anti-Chafing Ball Deodorant, absolute must-have for those hot, sunny days.
Hey, and don't forget, every purchase comes with a little extra free Boxers 2.0 Midnight Bravo. Talk about comfort and style that fits like a dream. You're gonna love it, I guarantee.
So what are you waiting for? Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code Booker at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use the code Booker.
Yeah, the summer sun is here to stay, so trust Manscaped and keep you looking and feeling cool.
Jump on this deal, y'all, and stay groomed this summer with Manscaped. Your beach bod deserves the best.
Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame. Just talking Dolph Ziggler, Nick Nemeth, new TNA World Heavyweight Champion, right?
Yes.
Heavyweight champion. Yeah, I like it, man. I like it. Maybe we can get Nemeth down to Reality of Wrestling. We got a big show going down at Reality of Wrestling, August 10th, Summer of Champions 10. And I'm going to tell you right now, guys, if you want to get a ticket, you better do it quick. Because they're going like hotcakes. We almost sold out. Last time I looked, we had about 20 tickets left. All right, about 20 tickets. But I just got some breaking news just came in my ear. We're doing some construction down at Reality of Wrestling, and the construction work will be finished by the end of the day. New risers going in, more chairs going in. On August 10th, that son of a gun is going to be packed again. Sell out for the 8th straight time in a row. So, guys, if you're anywhere in the surrounding areas of Texas City, 9300 M&F Lowry Expressway, Walker, Texas, Lawyer Arena, come on out and have you some fun. Big matches going down.
It's going to be incredible. Again, first match has been announced officially. Terrell Tempo returning in his first match back in Reality Wrestling in several years, taking on a returning from surgery, Will All Damn Day. That match has been made official. by our executive manager, Andrew Jackson, and it will be taking place at Summer Champions 10, the Walker, Texas Lawyer Arena. So if you're a Will All Day fan or if you're a Terrell Tempo fan, make sure you get one of those tickets so you can see them in action at the Summer of Champions. And this will be the first Summer of Champions for Will All Day since 2022, having been out of action in last year's Summer Champions 9. So,
hey man,
also
these guys
return to
injury
the
prone, man. These guys are injury prone. Guys like Will All Day. You know, guys say they're not tough enough. So guys like me back in the day, you know, guys like, you know, Terrell Tempo, we fight through injury. You know what I mean? We don't just sit back and just wait on somebody to bring us something or do something for us. We get up off that sofa. Unlike a Will All Day. I don't even know why he called himself Will All Day.
That's his name.
I mean? He should have called himself Will Half Day, a quarter day. All right, because he's definitely not Will All Day. Okay, I'm just saying.
Will Half Day? God, man, that's awful. It's funny though.
I'm just saying, man.
Awful.
You know, because
bad, man.
you know,
It's one of the top guys in reality wrestling.
Back in the day, we sucked it up, man. Another story. One of the guys that helped me make it to this this level of success, Sid Vicious.
Yeah.
Lobbying for his spot inside the WWE Hall of Fame. If I had a vote, Sid Vicious definitely would get my vote to be in the Hall of Fame. I always say Sid has been one of those guys that has been very, very misunderstood. Let's just say that. Sid has always been a good guy. If he like you. But I remember being in that sportatorium after about 18 months or so. And we got a phone call at the sportatorium. And it was one Sid Vicious, better known as Psycho Sid,
Baby.
letting us know that he wanted to get us into WCW, my brother and I. And if it was something that we was interested in, and we was like, oh yeah, man, most definitely we'd love to be a part of something like that. He said, well, I'm going to do whatever I got to do to get you guys in. I guess about 3 to 4 months later, Sid was calling us, telling us to get back our stuff, come to Atlanta, and we could stay with him and until we get on our feet. And Sid put my brother and I up for a couple of months until we started getting some checks, until we can get out and get on our own. You don't do that, you know, if you're not if you don't have a heart. You know, I know Sid saw something in us, and we was like it's a project for him to see if, you know, I don't know. I think at that time Sid would maybe thinking about going in the office, but Sid's mindset, it's not an office. He's not an office guy. He's not a guy that could be contained in a cage or anything like that. He's got to be out in the wild. You know, so I didn't think that would work out for him. But the idea for Sid to bring us in as his first projects and, you know, put us in a spotlight toward my brother and I, our first pay-per-view in WCW was War Games, and we were in the main event with Sid and Big Van Vader. Doesn't get any bigger than that. Doesn't get any bigger than that. I give Sid all the praise, man, for getting my brother and I the biggest break that we ever could have gotten. If it wasn't for Sid Vicious, I don't know where we'd be at. So he's definitely got my vote as far as going into the Hall of Fame, hopefully this year coming up.
Well, I mean, look, this guy, when you think about his accolades just in the business, he was WCW World Heavyweight Champion a couple times. He was a United States champion in WCW. He was a WWF champion. Remember, he was it WrestleMania 13? Was him and Undertaker in the main event? I believe. That's off the top of my head, but I believe that's the case. So, yeah, man, I mean, as far as what Sid can do or did, for the business, he was a top guy, man. And Psycho Sid too, from a character standpoint, especially in WCW, he would crack me up, man. Sid was funny. Yeah, I don't know if he was intentionally funny all the time, but he was a funny guy.
World.
Yeah,
you talking about he rules the world. I'm like, then I started using that later on in life. No, man, Sid was definitely believable. He was that guy. I mean, his promos were totally just sick. But you believed it. Is he a Hall of Famer? That's the question.
Without a doubt.
Without a doubt.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
And speaking of Hall of Famers, though, I also want to send a birthday wish to a Hall of Famer, somebody who you call Wanda, because he's the one that got away. Shawn Michaels. It's his birthday right now, the man who's running NXT. I know you see on a frequent basis every Tuesday there in Orlando. Just want to give a big happy birthday shout out to the Hall of Famer.
Happy birthday, Sean. You know what I mean? I'll see you on Tuesday, brother. Might have a little something for you. Yeah, most. No, man, I was on Busted Open earlier today, and we was talking about the anniversary of the Invasion angle.
Oh, wow. Is
Yeah,
that going on right? Is this the anniversary?
Yeah, this is the anniversary.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's the anniversary of the Invasion angle. And he was asking me, what do I remember about it? I said, nothing. Nothing. Absolutely
That's
nothing.
right.
I'm serious, man. No, because I was trying to figure out, what it was going to do for me to last in WWE. I wasn't thinking about, the Invasion angle because that was a make-believe. That wasn't real. And he was talking about the match. It's crazy. It's hard for me to even remember the match, but it was a fatal four-way match. And Bubba Ray was actually on my team. And the finish was me pinning Kurt Angle. And I go, man, that was just a setup. What are you thinking about? I'm like, what do you think I was thinking about that match? I'm like, me pinning Kurt Angle, and the Undertaker's on that team and all kind of stuff. I'm like, that was a setup. I'm like, I lost my title to Kurt Angle and I never got it back. And he was like, oh, I never thought about it that way. Well, I was thinking about it that way, So coming in at that time, the Invasion angle, only thing it meant for me was I need to figure out how to make it in the locker room with these guys because everybody in WCW getting fired.
Well, look, you're talking about the Invasion pay-per-view, right? And I remember the Invasion pay-per-view very well because as a fan, everybody always talked about what if the WCW guys and the WWF guys, went at it. And when we got the Invasion pay-per-view, wasn't the one.
Go ahead.
Wasn't the one that a lot of us thought, like when we first thought of this. Like when I thought about my dream Invasion pay-per-view, Earl Hebner versus Nick Patrick wasn't on the list as far as a referee match. There are a lot of ones, but look, I just want to read this card real quick if I can, because this was the Invasion pay-per-view, and up to I think like the late 2010s. I'm talking about 2017, 2018, 2019. This was one of the highest selling pay-per-views of all time. But it's Edge and Christian versus Lance Storm and Mike Awesome. Earl Hebner versus Nick Patrick. The APA versus Chuck Palumbo and Sean O'Hare. Billy Kidman versus X-Pac. Raven versus William Regal. Chris Kanyon, Hugh Morris, and Sean Stasiak taking on Albert the Big Show and Billy Gunn, a match that we always wanted. Tajiri versus Taz. Rob Van Dam versus Jeff Hardy. That is probably a dream match for a lot of people. I'd put that one up there. This is a thing of its time, but this is when they used to have bra and panty matches, which is a bygone era. Trish Stratus and Lita taking on Tori Wilson and Stacy Keibler. Okay, I can buy that one. Team WCW and ECW. So this is what you were talking about. It was you, Bubba Ray, Diamond Dallas Page, Devon, and Rhino taking on Chris Jericho, Kane, Kurt Angle, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and The Undertaker. 10-man tag.
Yeah.
That's a lot of heat, man.
It's a lot of heat. A lot of big stars, too, but we got to take a break. Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. Can you dig it, sucker? And this episode is sponsored by Blue Chew. Guys, let's talk about it. Let's talk about sex. Hey, you remember when you was always ready to go? I'm talking about strapping the rocket on it, man. Going straight to the moon. I'm talking about getting it done. If you want that extra confidence, I got something for you. Listen up. BlueChew.com. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, Levitra, but in a chewable tablet at the fraction of the cost.
But the great thing, Book, is you can take it any time, day or night, so you can plan ahead or be ready whenever an opportunity arisers. The process is simple. You sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days.
The best part, guys, it's all done online on the internet. So it's no doctor's visit, no awkward conversations, no waiting in line at a pharmacy or any of that.
And the thing is, Blue Chew's tablets, they're made right here in the USA and prepared and shipped direct to your door in a discreet package, so no one is the wiser.
You know, let's just get it out there, guys. Blue Chew wants to help you have better sex. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. It's like this. Chew it and do it. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew absolutely free when you use promo code Booker at your checkout. Just pay $5 for shipping, man. That's BlueChew.com. Use promo code Booker to receive your first month absolutely free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And, you know, we want to thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the Hall of Fame podcast. Chew it and do it. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, man. Jake Paul.
Oh, yeah.
Mike Perry.
Yeah.
Didn't it go kind of like I said it was going to go?
It was very close to your prediction there. And Jake Paul was the bigger, more dominant fighter, was able to stop Mike Perry in the 6th round. Mike Perry was actually getting beat up pretty good there, too, in those last few rounds, especially the 6th. He took several shots, and the referee had to have the understanding, the knowledge. No, what is it? The understanding?
Wherewithal
And know-how.
Understanding and know-how.
Yeah, there we go. To go in there and stop it, put a stop to it. And he did. He did. And Mike Perry even said in the post-fight, he's like, and what are you going to say? You just lost a fight. But he was like, man, he's a lot better than I thought he was. You know
what? He was probably a lot better than Mike Perry thought.
Yeah.
A lot of people underestimate Jake Paul's, pugilism, prowess. I think so. I really believe that. But the guy has been putting in real work as far as that goes. I can look at him just by the way he moves around in the ring and tell he can handle himself. I say that about most men. You can tell just by the way a man move if he can handle himself. Jake Paul is not somebody you want to go in there and think you could just beat up on. Well, he's proved that you just can't go in there and just beat up on him. He beat up a lot of guys, may not be traditional boxers, but a lot of those guys are tough guys. I can say that. And in a fight, you find a tough guy, you can find yourself getting your ass whooped. Seriously. And he's been on the upper end, other than the Fury fight, right?
Yeah, the Tommy Fury fight.
Yeah, that's the only one he lost, really. So no, I mean, he's definitely not somebody you can just go out there and beat up on. And like I say with Mike Perry, I just thought Mike Perry was just too undersized. It was a mismatch. It was a mismatch more than anything. It was a good payday for Mike Perry. Of course, you're not going to pass up that payday. No, that's not something you're going to do. That's like AEW. You're not going to do it. But no, Mike Perry went out and fought his best, but he was just undersized and just not equipped to go out there and do battle against someone like Jake Paul, because Jake looked huge. He looked big, and he was dropping bombs, and those shots were landing hard. So, no, man, Mike Perry did a good job. Good job. Great payday. Great payday. Great payday. Big ups to Mike Perry.
Well, you know what, though? Mike Perry might have gotten a big payday, and perhaps it might be his last payday as far as being a member of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. It was revealed, earlier this year that Conor McGregor is a part owner of BKFC, and he took to his social media to fire Mike Perry after losing the fight against Jake Paul out there.
That's very hypocritical because, when Conor McGregor did the same thing, he went over to boxing and he took the bag. He lost. He did. He lost honorable. Just like Mike Perry, he lost honorable. Like Mike Perry said, the guy was better than he thought. Floyd was better than he thought. So why would he think about – I read something about that. Immediately after the fight, Conor McGregor said he was fired. And Mike Perry said, you can't fire me. But, if Conor McGregor owns it, I'm sure he can, but that would be a stupid move on Conor McGregor's behalf, just because Mike Perry is the hottest thing going in bare knuckle, just like he was the hottest thing going at once upon a time in the UFC.
Yeah, again, BKFC is partially owned by McGregor Sports Entertainment and Conor McGregor. This is what Conor said. He said, "Hey, Mike, you're released and you can go compete in your smelly, dirty boxing championship thing. The smell of it. Good luck. You're fired." And he tagged at Bare Knuckle Fighting
It just goes to show you what
Championship.
kind of person Conor McGregor is, really. That just goes to show you what kind of class he really has. I don't know if that's a personal issue right there, because like I say, Conor McGregor did the exact same thing Mike Perry just did.
Now, this was also something that Conor said. He said, Jake Paul, and I'm going to have to edit it here. Jake Paul is the biggest piss bag I've ever seen in my life. 40-pound waist difference, juiced out of his head, and still crapping himself in there. You should take him to Vegas. Oh, that's right. You can never. The Athletic Commission is testing, real fighting. You can never. And then you call out a 60-year-old Mike Tyson, fresh off an in-flight medical emergency. I swear to the good Lord, you're a fake can of, I can't say it. Most
Why don't Conor McGregor fight Jake Paul and settle it? How about that?
Yeah.
I think that would be, you know what, people will pay for it. And I think, I don't know, me personally, I don't have anything, you know, any dog in the fight or anything like that. But why would he call Jake Paul all of those names when Jake Paul hasn't, you know, did anything but good business with people that he's worked with? A lot of those guys have made money that they wouldn't have made without Jake Paul. And the thing is, Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, I think that's a mutual thing. If Mike Tyson is willing to go in there and fight somebody like Jake Paul, why would he be taking up for Mike Tyson? I feel like if he wants to take up for Mike Tyson, step in the ring with Jake Paul and settle it. That's the only way it can be done.
We'll have to see what happens out of this. I don't think Conor McGregor versus Jake Paul would make a lot of sense from a
Well, I mean,
weight standpoint.
he's talking about juicing and they make it unofficial. Well, you can do whatever you want. You can take all the gas you want.
Do it in the BKFC? Would you do it in BKFC?
BKFC, I don't care where you do it.
Well, I mean, I saw Conor in Roadhouse, and I'm not making any accusations or allegations, but he was.
I'm not saying that either, but he looked like a heavyweight. So I say
pretty big.
They could get it on. I feel like that would be an even matchup right now at this point. You know, and we ain't got to go to USADA. We ain't even got to talk to them. We can just, you know, handshake agreement. You can take whatever you want to take.
Do whatever. It's all on the table.
All
you know
legal.
what I mean?
All legal.
Well, we'll have to see. But I think, do we have time to get? Do you want to get to our super chats here today?
Yeah, we got time. Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, we have this segment and one more after this. So we're going to go to Eddie Kane Maine, who said, "Hey Booker, I watched reality wrestling yesterday, and it looks like that Matty Ice is not too fond of your decision to put the championship on Edge Stone. Now, slight point of contention: you didn't put the championship on Edge Stone. Edge Stone won that championship against Gaspar, using his battle to the bell cash-in opportunity. But continue. What is your reaction to Eddie Kane Maine?
Eddie, thing is, Matty Ice can come talk to me about that if he likes, but his ass better come between my office hours or from 9 to 5. Okay, just make sure he comes within those hours. But as far as Edge Stone is the man now. Edge Stone is looking great. Edge Stone is looking phenomenal, unbeatable, unbreakable. Stone don't crumble. That's the only thing that we're worried about right now. So whatever Matty Ice is thinking about, he needs to think about it quietly and silently.
To himself.
Exactly.
Keep his opinions to himself unless you can come to your office hours from 9 to 5. We also have the Ronin just became a member of the channel. So we appreciate you, sir. Thank you. And then our next one comes from Voodoo Vic. Good morning, Boat and Book. Book, what's your favorite thing to sign at events?
Lately, the Funko Pops, man, because they the rates just went up.
The rate's gone up, you say?
Rates just went up.
Okay, the Funkos, man, they took them long enough. You know what? I don't know who makes the Funko. If that's the name of the company, the pop vinyl, I don't know who makes it.
Yeah.
Took them long enough to make a Booker T
No,
pop
no,
vinyl.
man. It's like God, man. Even when God's late, He's always on time. And it's something like that for me. It's like money in the bank. You don't want to cash it in too soon. I mean, so the later it comes, the better. Because right now, bro, Funkos are selling like hotcakes. Everybody got one. It's a beautiful, beautiful tea.
Beautiful, beautiful bounties, beautiful bounties. As far as the Funko, when you first saw it, and was it sent to you, or did you see a picture first?
I saw a photo first.
What was your first reaction?
I was like, "Oh yeah, man! The guns finna pick up, man." It's one of those things, with conventions. It's stuff like that that just pops off. It's almost like the Beanie Babies back in the day. That's before your time.
I know what beanie, but what do you mean before my time?
No, well, the Cabbage Patch.
Now that's before my time.
You know what I mean? So that kind of stuff, man. Once it get out there and go viral, everybody want one. Everybody need one. And so for me, yeah, the Funko Pop right now is one of the hottest sellers for me at the convention. So I'm like, everybody in line, make sure you get your. And I like doing it cool. I'll do one side in like red, and then I flip it over on the other side, and I do white or something. I always do two colors just to make it pop, and they always pretty much like the handprint. Hey, we got to take another break. You're in the Hall of Fame, guys. Back in a sec. You dig it, sucker!
You're listening to the Hall of Fame. Here's Booker T and Brad Gilmore.
Out. When you come to the WWA, this is what you're going to have to face right here. It's the GI Bro.
Well, let me tell you something, Steve, baby. I've been noticing all these big guys like the Super Collider, the Warrior, this Thor. Well, let me... First things first, man. I got a new haircut. Would you like to see it, man?
Yeah, I want to see. All right.
G.I. Bro. G.I. Bro is my name. And beating people up is my game. Look in my eyes. Everybody in the WWA, I just want you to know one thing. The G.I. Bro is ready, willing, and able to take on all comers in the WWA. That means everybody. Thor, Cherokee Warrior, Super Collider, mainly because I seen what you did. You came out, you tore the sign up, you ripped it out of my little private's hand, and you stripped it in two, man. That's something you don't do. You don't mess with my little privates, man. It's a war. Let me tell you, when I get you in the square circle, when I get you in the combat zone, when I get you in the ganking zone, that's when I'm going to declare World War III on you and take you clean out of the game, man. Ah!
That never gets old.
At least I said World War III.
Yeah. You didn't mess it up.
I didn't mess that up, man. No, man, it's crazy, man. Crazy. Every time I see that, I was watching that because they played it on the documentary last night. I was watching it, and I was like, "Wow, man, it's crazy how time flies." Crazy how
The
time.
WWA, man, the best man in the WWA. Well, you know what?
The Alliance, man. Yeah.
Speaking of, your career and riding through the towns, making the towns as you were, Marcus Craig is here with our next super chat. He says, who were your travel partners during your career? I know you famously traveled solo a lot of the times after your tag team run. Your brother, I'm assuming, was a big travel partner for a long time. Who were your travel partners?
Yeah, back in the day, this one ref, his name is Brian Hildebrand. He died of cancer. Back in the day, he was one of the first riding buddies that my brother and I had in WCW. Such a cool dude. And for me, Nick Patrick, him and I, we used to ride down the road all the time, man. And Too Cold Scorpio, he was another one of my riding buddies in WCW. And I don't think in WCW I had any other riding buddies other than those guys. And some stories to tell too, man, going down those highways, especially with me and my boy Nick Patrick, man. We got into one doozy one time, man, and it was just nuts, man. And I'll tell that story another time, but let's get it rolling.
Yeah, we'll save that one for a live show. John JID 999 Booker, your thoughts on the NIL program that WWE and NXT does?
I love it. We've got some really, really good talent out of the NIL program. Look at, guys like Obafemi. Look at, the ladies like Tiffany Stratton, and, so many of them like Kalani Jordan. So a lot of those guys have picked this system up a lot quicker than most out there, from the average sports world. I don't know what it is. I don't, especially on the tumblers, they seem to pick it up. Like Sol Ruka, they seem to pick it up, even from a psychology side, a little bit quicker than most. But I still believe in the talent out there on the independent scene as well, because I know I got one, and I'm gonna just mention her name, Promise Braxton. She may be the best female wrestler in the country right now. So you cannot sleep on the talent out there that's grinding. At the same time, the NIL program is doing a great job.
Yeah, and I think it's a great opportunity for WWE to be able to, get into that college game and get some athletes that, like you said, didn't come from the independents and can bring something different than a traditional wrestler could. But I couldn't agree with you more. Promise Braxton is the preeminent female wrestler in the game right now. I've said it for a long time. She's my favorite wrestler, male, female, indifferent, to watch wrestle live. It's always an experience to see Promise Braxton. So if you don't know about Promise, you better get to know, because I have a feeling everyone's going to be seeing her a lot more soon, by the grace of God. Our next one here comes from King Rizzy. MVP and Bobby would be better for TNA than AEW. They'd get lost in the shuffle in AEW.
See, didn't I say that? King.
Yes.
Didn't I say king to king? I said that. This is exactly what I said. I said that just because those guys definitely, I think, could bring something to the table, no doubt. But in AEW, I just don't think they fit into what Tony Khan's vision of that show is. That I could be, and there again, I could be wrong, but normally I'm not. Normally I'm not on this kind of stuff. Hurt Business in TNA, adding Moose to the that's just me right there. That's just me as a promoter. Adding Moose to the fold, getting his title back, and all that stuff. Yeah, heck yeah, man, it will work perfectly fine.
Yeah, and I think,
and then,
man, that's actually,
then of course, Bobby and Moose is gonna have some friction there sooner or later. It's a lot of meat on that bone.
That'd be good, man. I like the idea of Moose in the Hurt Business.
See that? I just sold you, didn't I? I just sold you.
What happened to you not booking the show?
I don't book WWE shows.
Oh, okay. Okay.
No, but you like that, don't you?
I do like the Moose being in the Hurt Business. And he just lost the title.
Oh, man.
He come in and be like, hey, I'll help get you back to the top.
Exactly. And then Moose and Bobby Sue, or what we got here. Whoa. I got the title. Hey, that's mine. Hey, I'm just saying. I'm not trying to give any ideas. But that's an idea for you.
There you go. Okay. M Music. This is our final one of the this is the final one of the day. M Music says, I watched Matty Ice versus Gaspar match too. Brad, you sounded like you're gonna make a heel turn on the mic. I got my King Booker pop signed. Well, there you go. Great match on Reality Wrestling. You didn't see Matty Ice versus Gaspar. Me?
Yeah.
I'm not. No, I just call it like I see it. You know what I mean?
All
right? Just like you.
Just got called out right there. You sound like you trying to, Yeah, I get it. I just call it like I see it. But Gaspar, I'm gonna tell you right now. Let me tell you guys right now about Gaspar.
Tell us.
Gaspar is a guy that's grinding. I'm gonna give him his props. Gaspar been grinding since day one to become the Reality Wrestling champion. He got it snatched from him. Mm-hmm. He should be the Reality Wrestling champion right now. One day, Gaspar may be the Reality of Wrestling champion if he keeps working as hard as he's working there, and he keep his nose clean. That's what he's got to do more than anything, keep his nose clean. All right? If you understand what I'm saying, Gaspar, One of these days, you're going to be great. Just not now.
Well, we'll have to find out what happens with Gaspar Hernandez at the Summer of Champions, and if he can become the Reality of Wrestling champion. That remains to be seen. You know, he said this about King Booker, and we were talking about Nick Nemeth. This is something I wanted to ask you. I know we only have, a couple minutes left of the show? 3. This is something I wanted to ask you. Because you've always been Booker T your whole life, this is your real name. This is who you are, Booker T. Huffman, not Robert Teo, as we've talked about quite a bit. But since you are Booker T. Huffman, you've always been able to keep the name Booker T in throughout your wrestling career, no matter where you've gone. It hadn't been like Dolph Ziggler and change his name to Nick Nemeth, or the Hurt Business can't be the Hurt Business in other places because WWE owns that. Was there ever any idea in your mind if I couldn't have been Booker T, this would have been my name?
No, never. I always knew I was going to be Booker T wherever I went. I don't know how. I don't know how. I just knew I was going to be Booker T. I knew going to WWE, I was going to be Booker T. WCW. They tried to change it, but it's just something that wouldn't work. I didn't like it. Something that I asked to be, changed back to, which was, Cole, back to Booker T. I don't know. It was just something about I felt like I wanted and needed my name. And I remember Eddie Gilbert telling me when I first got in the business, he was like, "Man, you got such a cool name. We got to keep that." Even in global, it was Booker T and Stevie Ray. He didn't change my name just because he thought it was such a cool name. And what's crazy is I hated my name as a kid. When I was 18, I always said when I was 18, I was going to change my name to something, but I don't want my name to ever be Booker, ever again. That's what I was thinking as a kid, just because I used to get teased and bullied, called Booger all the time as a kid. So I just didn't think I had a cool name until Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert. He said, "Man, such a cool name." And boom, that was the beginning.
Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert's also a good name, by the way.
It is.
Just throw that out there.
Yeah.
That's a great name. Well, yeah, I just wondered, because I remember when Devon and Bubba Ray went to TNA, all of a sudden they couldn't be Devon Dudley and Bubba Ray Dudley. They were Brother Ray and Brother Devon. You remember that?
Yeah.
It's like Brother Ray and Brother Devon, Team 3D.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm so glad I didn't have to go through that, man. I'm so glad I didn't have to deal with something like that throughout my career because I don't know. I don't know how it would have turned out. It could have been totally different than it turned out to be.
Because the name really can do a lot for you.
Championship name, man. It's a championship name. I always tell my students, make sure you get a championship name. If you got a JoJo name, you're probably going to find yourself somewhere JoJo on the card, mid card, lower card, but you're never going to be thrust in a position where you can be the guy or the girl. So make sure you guys getting into this business, get yourself a good name. I always think about Elix Skipper. I always say if he would have changed his name to the Skipper of Elix, he might have would have went a long way, a lot further. Charmel said, "Nah, it wasn't that Skipper of Elix either. That's nuts." But I like it, Skipper of Elix. It's anything. But we got to get out of here, guys. We got to get out of here. I want to thank everybody for stepping inside the Hall of Fame. Get your champagne wishes. Caviar dreams, man. Got to get out of here because we got NXT coming up tomorrow. Bradley for all the heavy lifting. Like I always say, peace, we love you. We out.